So financial security means a lot of different things to people, but it all comes down to quality of life. For my parents, quality of life was feeling that they're going to be okay once they retire. So they asked for my help to find a financial advisor. So after like the 18th interview, I realized this was really hard. And if I was coming from Wall Street and struggling to find that advisor for them, there's probably millions of other families that were struggling with the same pain point. And hence, Zoe Financial is trying to solve for that pain point. My name is Andres Garcia Maya, founder and CEO of Zoe Financial. The curation of the financial advisors that get into our network is really important. The question we ask ourselves is, would you send your parents to this financial advisor? And if it's not a clear yes, then that advisor does not belong in our network. Google has not only been able to deliver quality as we were a very young company, but it's been able to scale with us and actually improve conversion as we go. So in the first half of 2021, things were not playing out exactly as planned. We were focused on converting users to leads rather than seeing the whole customer journey. We use the data that we're receiving on our side and providing it back to Google so that they could then find more users like the ones that were actually buying the service. So once we identified who the client was, we changed our bidding strategy. We switched to target ROAS, which ultimately switched the equation from being cost effective to finding people that wanted to buy the service and ultimately became more profitable for us. As a result, by the end of 2021, we surpassed our 200% year-over-year growth while being more cost effective than we did prior to changing the strategy. So the beauty of partnering with Google is that we're going to be able to help millions of people accelerate their wealth in the years to come.
Thanks for joining us for our Generate Lead Summit today. I'm Sara Wolf, Head of Lead Generation here at Google. There's no question that we're in a time of economic uncertainty. The good news is that, as marketers, there are steps you can take now to ensure you're delivering reliable results while driving long-term growth. It all comes down to getting measurement right and optimizing your strategy for what really matters most for your business. The most sophisticated advertisers who are focused on lead generation understand what happens across the entire user journey, from the first click to the actual purchase, and they know how much each step is worth to their business. By passing this knowledge back to Google Ads, they make their strategy more profitable. We see that on average, importing this first-party data into Google Ads drives a 20% lift in incremental revenue. This process starts with what we call the lead to sale journey, the foundation to increasing lead quality and driving bottom-line sales. And that's our focus for today. First, we'll outline the steps to turn your lead generation strategy into a profit driver for your business with our 4-step formula. Then, we'll show you an example of how a lead generation business maps the lead to sale journey in real time, so you can apply it back to your own business. From there, we'll break into personalized breakout groups with Google product leads where you'll get to ask questions directly and hear from industry peers. So let's jump right in. I oversee about 2,500 customers whose main objective is to drive high-quality leads without sacrificing volume. As I meet with customers, I often hear their chief objective is to be as efficient as possible. Sound familiar? This is based on a metric we all know quite well. Target CPA, aka the cost you're willing to pay to acquire a customer. What if we could shift your business strategy from a focus of pure efficiency to profitability? Unlike an e-commerce business, the bulk of a lead gen sales cycle, including the final transaction, happens offline. In the past, to compensate for those offline conversion actions we couldn't measure, we focused on what we could, like lead volume, or we controlled for ad spend. Effectively, we were making decisions somewhat blindly and treated all conversions equally. More than ever, we know how important it is to reach the right customer at the right time, and Google Ads can help ensure we're finding your highest valuable customers and growing business profitably. That's the mindset shift from marketing as a cost center to marketing as a profit driver. And the key? Your first-party data. It can be your single biggest advantage, especially in a privacy-safe world. As consumers, we're demanding greater control over how our data is collected and used. And as marketers, with third-party cookies expected to go away next year, we have the solution for you to maintain visibility into your ad performance. So, how do we get there? As more marketers have expedited their digitalization, we've documented a recipe for success. The Google Ads growth formula has 4 steps to optimize your ad strategy for quality leads, bottom line sales. Let me walk you through the steps. In step 1, you map your lead to sale journey and assign conversion values to each stage of the journey. This step is the focus of today's event. The rest of the formula depends on mapping the lead to sale journey in the right way. In step 2, you import your first-party data, set up the right measurement, and bid to value. Once you have the right foundation in place, you're ready to start fueling the funnel. And finally, you continue optimizing and testing new strategies. Combining these ingredients together will drive more revenue and profitability for your business. So let's dive in. Step 1, set objectives. You know a final sale is worth more to your business than a lead. Let's make sure your strategy reflects that. Mapping your lead to sale journey will help you identify which customer actions, beyond the lead, are effectively driving more sales for your business. Let's look at an example. If you're a university, every student needs to go through a few stages. First, they request information. Then, the student completes the application. And finally, the student enrolls. If you work backwards from the actual enrollment value and consider your conversion rates through each stage, you can figure out the dollar value for each conversion action. These are the conversion values that you'll use in Google Ads and bid against in step 2. In the next sessions, we'll showcase best practices to help you map your own lead to sale journey in the right way and identify the conversion actions that are most valuable to your business. Let's look at how we're going to bid towards the most valuable actions. Step 2 is all about getting ready. Your first-party data is key to this step. You know your customers best, and that knowledge is critical to driving incremental ROI for your business. But not only that, your first-party data can help you future-proof your advertising as privacy regulations roll out. As more browsers continue to restrict third-party cookies, it's important that your measurement strategy is watertight. To achieve that, your team will need to implement Google's global site tag on every page of your website. This, coupled with other privacy-safe measurement strategies like enhanced conversions, will allow you to capture the full value of your online conversions. Our team will guide you in implementing these strategies. Mapping your lead to sale journey helps you identify all the customer actions that drive sales. Implementing privacy-safe measurement helps you capture how much your online conversions are worth. And now it's time for the most critical piece of them all, importing your offline conversions and their values, aka your key differentiators. With Offline Conversion Import, or OCI, you're able to connect your CRM into Google Ads and then input the conversion values from the lead to sale journey. OCI is privacy safe and uses your hash data and then matches the online actions with the offline data that you imported. This allows Google Ads to provide insight on the clicks, queries, and audience types that ultimately lead to your valuable sales. Now it's time to gain insights with automation. Google's automated solution can process millions of signals in a millisecond to calculate a probable lead and an optimal bid. But like any algorithm, it's only as strong as the data you feed it. The first-party data you've integrated informs Google Ads on what your ideal customer looks like. Using value-based bidding, or target return on ad spend, lets you optimize towards the value of the sale, not just the sale itself. Wouldn't you be willing to pay more for a lead if you knew they would ultimately be more valuable to you? We see that clients who do this move from marketing as a cost center to marketing as a profit driver, see a 14% increase in conversion value. This shift in approach will help you start optimizing towards higher value sales and stop spending on poor quality leads. Step 3, take action. Now that you have a strong foundation in place, you can build on this to scale. Start testing value-based bidding and evaluate the impact on profitability. From there, you have growth levers like the use of broad match and dynamic search ads, and/or the use of video and discovery to fuel your high-quality leads funnel. And last but not least, it's time to evaluate your strategy and find more opportunities for growth. Now that you're using automation, your team can move away from manual tasks to focusing on more strategic ones. Refine your strategy, test new ones, run experiments, and continue to look for opportunities for growth. This is the future of lead gen. We encourage you to keep up so you can stay ahead of the curve.
Hello, I am Rodrigo de Moraes, an account executive here at Google, and I help businesses grow by improving their lead generation strategy. At this point, you're familiar with the Google Ads growth formula and how it helps you find your highest value customers to grow your business profitably. In this section, we'll dive deeper into mapping the lead to sales journey, identifying each customer action from the moment that they click on your ad until they become a paying customer. Most advertisers know the value of their final sales, yet the most sophisticated marketers know the value of every single step in their customer journey. And they use this data to inform their digital marketing strategy. By mapping the lead to sales journey, marketers can connect their first-party data directly into Google Ads and pair with Google's automation solution to bid towards the highest value customers. Advertisers that are bidding towards value, optimizing on return for ad spend, are seeing a 15% higher conversion value. The lead to sales journey is the foundation for unlocking maximum growth, and we're excited to get you there. It's a simple process. First, you define your primary business objective. Then, you map the user journey, that is, every online and offline touchpoint that occurs between the ad click and the actual sale. Finally, you import the conversion values and use automated bidding to optimize for the most valuable conversion actions. It all starts with defining your business objective. Businesses have different goals and unique sales cycles. The first question to ask is, what does your business want to achieve? Usually, it's revenue or profitability. Let's go back to the university example that Sara walked you through. Imagine they offer both bachelor's and master's degrees, yet their main business objective this year is to maximize revenue from master's programs at or above 200% return on ad spend. Now that we understand their North Star, we can work together to set up the ad strategy to achieve that ultimate revenue goal. Keep your business objective in mind as you go through the lead to sales exercise. Now we dive into the lead to sales journey. What happens after the user clicks on your ad? In the university example, their ad takes customers to the landing page, where they can call, chat, or submit a lead form. One way to optimize towards high-quality users is to assign values to each stage you outline. Think of which action is more valuable to your business. In this case, calls are the most valuable. What drives these differences in value? Conversion rates. Prospects who call the university are more likely to become students than those who chat or fill in a form. Back to the journey. What happens after stage 1? Are you tracking what happens after the form fill? In this example, the journey continues offline when a potential student starts an application. From here, there is a standard flow. The potential student starts an application, submits the application, and then enrolls in the program. Think about how long it takes for someone to go from one stage of the journey to another. People usually take around 1 to 3 days to complete the application after they contact the university. Once this happens, the school reviews the application before accepting the student. Picture your own business. If you have an internal approval process, how long does it take to complete the sale? Is there a drop-off? There's a 14-day delay between the student completing their applications to when they actually enroll, with a 25% conversion rate between these two stages. The entire lead to sales journey for this university is just about 17 days. Once you've mapped your own lead to sales journey and identified the conversion values, you can start importing this information into Google Ads. This will help you differentiate your most valuable users and optimize towards them. In the university example, it would help them to get more of the master students they're after. How is this done? Pass those values into Google Ads through an offline conversion import. Your Google Account Manager will help you walk through the implementation process. It's important to identify if you already have a CRM in place. Your CRM already includes most of the data that we've talked about: conversion rates, conversion volumes. There are different offline conversion import setups according to your CRM system, and your Google team will help you identify which of those work best for you. Once you're importing your first-party data, use value-based bidding to optimize for what matters to your business. How do you choose the right conversion action to bid against? Optimize towards a conversion action that is closely aligned with your business objective. We recommend that you choose the deepest action in the lead to sales journey that has more than 15 account-level conversions in the past 28 days. Avoid selecting multiple conversion actions unless they are on the same stage of the funnel. Work with your Google Account Manager to align on the best conversion based on volume and time. Now that you know how to map the lead to sales journey, let's lay out your next steps. First, you need your team to align on your primary business objectives. Map your user journey and assign conversion values. Your Google Account Manager will guide you through it. And secure your web developer and CRM administrator to let them oversee the data integration. Second, you need time. Once your first-party data is imported into Google Ads, value-based bidding needs a couple of conversion cycles to observe, test, learn, and iterate towards optimal performance. In our university example, it took 17 days for a lead to become a sale. We would recommend to let the system learn for 3 conversion cycles. Third and most important, you need commitment to prioritization. We know that there is a lot going on, but you can feel confident that mapping your lead to sales journey to integrate and activate your data will help you achieve a sustainable competitive advantage. So, to summarize what we've talked about today, the Google Ads growth formula at its core is a simple but powerful idea. Pair your first-party data with Google's automation. This will set the foundation to start consistently generating high volume of high-quality leads.